Ariel Anthieni and CEO the Counter-Territory and Sebastian Lopez and Development Senior the Counter-Territory. In coming, I would like to talk about now at the beginning was time we need to have territory information, no? What this allow us to know where to go or know to move, to make some basic decision about transport, owner or manager of territory space. In the short term, we begin and understand that this what no one knows, so we standard to superimpose territory and information at it. This begin to benefit of in begin about to make analysis in the file of the place situation, planning, urban planning, add so to the GTFS. Cannot what is happening in an area or a specific size, city, this haven't rise to the concept of the smart city, What is revealed to this state, we realize that the information what arrived very slow and did not allow us the prediction before. This is why the concept of the digital twin was generated. What allowed and the prediction before simulate growth applied AI technique with urban code model traffic and by IM 3D and generation of the scenario simulation. How what the thing is? These all this world more than important to make in complete on open source in order to facilitate access to the code and achieve synergy in the process. On the other hand, to base on the digital twin paradigm to allow not only the predict capacity but also the possibility to scale the platform in interaction with other systems and the environments to a smart city to a new horizon. I'm sorry.
Why, MapLibre?
Yes, see. Okay. What with MapLibre? This is in one concept is the complete free platform supports different formats and can custom develop layer. No, it's possibly the generate new library type and allow interaction with Redux, GAs, AVC, GAs, allow. It is easy to update the library and no limit the update library and no necessary change the platform or reformat all platform in support with GL and other type of technology. So
this is a different type of sources that we are using right now. As you can see, we have some with the check, and that means that they are the kind of type of sources that we are already implementing our production. The two of the right that has the clock, they mean that we are working on that kind of sources that are in progress, but we have just an MVP and we don't have any on production. For example, vector tiles, that all here we already know. That is a good feature that MapLibre, as I mentioned before, Ariel, is very useful for us. Not only with MapLibre, we also for mesh we have to use a ladder shear in order to put the mesh with the texture inside that made us that allows to not just the terrain that is a them. So with some libraries that facilitate that improve the capacity of MapLibre. The last work that we were doing was with IFC. That is a format that is very known on the architecture side that is supported for I forgot for a moment for Autodesk. So this format IFC is not just the geometry of the building, also it has information about the building. So it allows to put the building on the map and get information from there, so in order to display it on the screen. About the point cloud, I cannot say too much. All of you know about this. The challenge about point cloud is that we need to put a lot of cloud, the points, so you know can be very hard to get a good performance on that. We have an MVP that works very well, but we think that for production we need to get deeper on the efficiency of this. About the streaming data, we are currently taking data from Buenos Aires about the transport, and with that we can get information, if there is a strike or something like that get the delay on the transport, for example, and things like that. And we can see in the map that's in what we're working right now. Go to the next slide. Okay, thanks. This is, for example, one of our viewers. This viewer uses different kind of type sources. For example, here is very faster, the example, but you can imagine that we can, you can, if you want, you can scan that QR and you will see this demo in real. Maybe it's very possible that because this Wi-Fi is slow, but also this is in Argentina, on servers in Argentina, so it can be very, very slow here, but in Argentina it works very well, okay? So the thing of this is that we are adding several layers, and we can sort these layers, and it was pretty easy to do because we have our base on MapLibre, and MapLibre facilitates all that stuff. It was very, very quickly to do it. Next one. I want to talk about the rule engines, that because we all know that we need to adapt all to the needs of the client. So when the client comes to us, he's asking, for example, for make a cadastre and get info for the cadastre, process this information, and maybe we need to change the viewer in order to be efficient or better experience to the user. So we saw that are very similar to this, but are different, right? Because we want everyone. Okay. So, and this one just changed a little, but I think that is important for the user, the final user. So this is our RAL engines that get the information, I said before, for example, cadastre. It used that geospatial data and the interpretation of the URL code, for example, in order to generate layer information, for example, the extrusion. So in order to visualize it in the viewer, it runs and process the layer, and we have to do nothing on the front end viewer without change. We process all on the back end, and the viewer can have more new information, updated information, without any change on the front end. Maybe we can change the color of the extrusion things like that. And although it's possible, thanks to our Rail engine. Another thing. Okay, here's an example seeing the IFC. I put the console log because when if we try to do the same with the car, but I don't know if I can show you.
Go back and forth.
Back and forth. Here we are seeing that we are moving around our mouse. That the background is a map, as you can see, and it is getting information when we pass over the shape. So it's not just only a geometry. That's the important thing about digital twin, not just to put images. We need to get data from that. Okay, this is our main stack of technology that we are using now. Of course, also you use PostgreSQL, Python, GeoNode, with self-servers, all that stuff. We are using a lot of Airflow to orchestrate all that information. And the infrastructure is Docker, of course. I'm not sure if of course, but it's very easy, as you know. For the viewer, we are using React with MapLibre as a framework, as the main. We need different kind of framework in order to adapt to the necessity. For example, 3GAs or whatever. Here is another example, another viewer. Here is very similar to the first one, but in this case, the user requires that it needs to be shown in a mobile device. In this case, we decided to go for a responsive one, not for the native one, because just think of cost was not necessarily a really good efficiency. But if you need a really good efficiency in mobile, you need to go for MapLibre native. That is the case. It was a pleasure to be here. Hope you enjoyed.